Now, on 2GB Sydney and network stations across Australia, it's time for Wide World of Sports with Mark Levy. Thanks to McDonald's.
Hi everyone, great to have you with us after another huge weekend of sport. Just 8 teams remain in the race for the Telstra Premiership, and the captains gathered in Brisbane today to launch the NRL Finals Series. Billy Slater will join me shortly to run through the 4 games, starting with the qualifier on Friday night between Melbourne and Manly on the Sunshine Coast. Josh Adokar and Cameron Munster are in doubt for the Storm. And what about the heroics of Tom Trbojevic, who bagged his 5th hat-trick of the season, if you don't mind? I can't wait for the finals to get underway. You'll hear the games on 2GB and 2CC with the continuous call team, and of course you'll see them on Channel 9's Wide World of Sports. Couple of questions to pose off the top of the show, and I'd love to know what you think. 1, is Blake Taaffe the best option at fullback for the South Sydney Rabbitohs? 2, can the Roosters keep winning without a fair chunk of their salary cap? And 3, are you prepared to write off the chances of Newcastle and Gold Coast? Jump on the line and have your say over the next hour on 131873. Email me at 2gb.com and text me 0460 873 873. Unfortunately, the season has come to an end for 8 teams who failed to make the finals, including the West Tigers, where the knives are out for Michael Maguire, but the head coach insists he's the right man for the job.
Changing teams and changing pathways of clubs takes a little bit of time. Doesn't mean you can't get better performances on the park. I'll acknowledge that. But it's about continually just sticking to the path of where we're going with this group.
Now, I've had a gutful of the criticism being levelled at Michael Maguire, who's got the runs on the board, winning premierships in the NRL, the Super League and a Challenge Cup in the UK. I keep hearing complaints about the players being exhausted because the coach is too hard on them. And I nearly fell off my chair yesterday when Michael Chammas from the Sydney Morning Herald told the continuous call team that the playing group wasn't happy with how they were portrayed in a documentary on Fox. Now, are these blokes serious? When are the players going to take responsibility for their embarrassing performances and their pathetic attitudes? I'll tell you what the real problem is at the West Tigers, folks. The people in charge of the club who have continued to allow the lunatics to run the asylum. How many more coaches do you want to pay out to get the same result? Brad Fittler said the same thing last night on the final whistle.
The problem is it seems like the players are in control. They're out there not really having a go, and no one's really talking about them being sacked. And that becomes a drama because it becomes a lot easier to move one coach. That's normally what happens. The players take over, they stop trying, someone gets punted, and then it sort of starts again.
Here's an idea. Put a broom through the head office and start standing up to the playing group. If they aren't happy with the head coach, tell them to pack their bags and find another job. I think if they get rid of Michael Maguire, it's proof to me the people running the joint have got no idea. As Jack Gibson once said, success starts in the front office. If you're a Tigers fan or a rugby league fan, it's the big issue of the day. Jump on the line and have your say, 131873. I've sat back and listened to it all. I can't cop it anymore. Michael Maguire is not the problem. Elsewhere in sport, congratulations to our Paralympians who are heading home with 80 medals, including 21 gold, which is one short of the tally from Rio in 2016. I think the Wallabies halfback Tate McDermott summed up what most people thought of their performance against the All Blacks in Perth. He's described the team as pretty soft. Daniil Medvedev and Canadian teenager Leylah Fernandez through to the quarterfinals of the US Open. And how do you think Patrick Cantlay's feeling after winning the PGA Tour Championship and the $20 million FedEx Cup? Jump on the line and have your say over the next hour on 131873. Email me via the website. The text line fired up 0460 873 873. It's Monday the 6th of September. You're listening to Wide World of Sports. Billy Slater's in the house to preview the first week of the finals. Hello, Billy.
G'day, Leaves. I know it's finals time. You're fired up. Look at him. He's not happy about the West Tigers.
Mate, I'm going to get your thoughts on them later on, but let's focus on the positives. And, you know, I want to hear from supporters about finals and also the West Tigers as well. But I've just had enough of everything I keep hearing, and I just had to get it off my chest. But let's focus on the positives. What a start to the series Friday night, Billy. Your old club, the Melbourne Storm, taking on the Manly Sea Eagles.
Wow, what a game it's going to be. And there's no sure things in all 4 games, but this one in particular, Manly are coming in red-hot form, beating the Cowboys convincingly up there in Townsville. And I tell you what, if Melbourne struggle to contain their fullback Tom Trbojevic, it's going to be a really close game. So Cameron Munster's in doubt, Josh Adokar's in doubt. Manly are right in this.
We'll hear from Cameron Munster in just a sec, Billy. I just wanted to highlight one thing that I loved on the weekend. Now, you've been in the position where you're in front by plenty, you get the ball, you're on the dead ball line. Most people would run it dead and, righto, that's it, full time, head off the field. What about Manly's try on 80 minutes? Unbelievable.
Incredible. And knowing you're going into a qualifying final within 6 days, and that's just the mindset of the Manly Seagulls at the moment. And Ruben Garrick just picked it up, tiptoed along the dead ball line and found his captain in Daly Cherry Evans, and then guess who pops up on the inside to score the try? Tom Trebojevic. It's such a pleasure to watch them play, and when they're in that sort of mood, they're enjoyable to watch.
Well, as Billy mentioned, Josh Adokar and Cameron Munster are in doubt for that game on Friday night. Cameron Munster had this to say about his injury earlier today.
I can still play on Friday, but they can't guarantee the stitches will hold up.
So we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, it's 50-50 call with me, the coaching staff, and Jonesy got to make. We could win, open it up, have the week off, and then who knows, I'll be back to square one. But if I play, open it up, and we lose, and then I've got to try and back up again the following week.
So there he is, Cameron Munster, 50-50 chance. It's a big call to make, isn't it?
Well, that's the dilemma, isn't it? If he plays and he reopens up the cut that got infected, well, he's got to wait for it to heal again. If he doesn't play, he's nearly assured of it healing right up for the following week. So it's a big gamble. He's a big player, and he's a key player in this Melbourne Storm team. And I tell you what, if Cameron Munster's not in the side, it's a flip of the coin.
Before we get to the other three games, you would have been happy with Ryan Papenhuyzen. We were only talking last week, the decision for Craig Bellamy. Does he put Nico Hines back there? Does he persist with Ryan Papenhuyzen? You, my friend, stick with Paps, and boy, didn't he have a game.
Oh, I was really happy for him, and there's a lot of pressure on him when people talk about your performance the way they were. And look, coming back from an injury that he came back from, because it is an injury, and it takes a lot mentally to get over what he went through. So it was really positive signs that he not only scored the 3 tries, but just the way that he played. And I've seen signs of him getting back to that. So that'll give him a whole lot of confidence going into the first final.
Well, that's how we started. Friday night, Sunshine Coast Stadium, Melbourne, Manly. The early game on Saturday is the first of the eliminators. The Roosters taking on the Gold Coast. Can the Chooks continue this incredible run without a fair chunk of the salary cap?
Yeah, I think they can. They get Victor Radley and Jared Warrior-Hargraves back into this contest, but the Gold Coast, they put the broom through the Warriors on the weekend and found themselves in that 8th spot that I predicted last week, Leave. So they're heading in with a lot of confidence, and they'll feel like they've got nothing to lose. So Jaden Campbell's in some great form, and it's going to be a cracking game. But I think the Roosters might just have the experience.
Just on the Warriors, do you reckon they all sat down and had a cup of tea after that game? Jeez, there were some hot heads.
Oh,
Kane Evans.
They had
Matt
to go
Lodge.
they had to go and find their dummies first.
Oh wow! Talk about throwing the toys out the cot. Saturday night, the later game, Penrith and South Sydney. This should be a beauty as well.
Yeah, it will be. Penrith, they're just primed for this. They look healthy. Starting to play some good football. They got their meter eater Brian Toto back on the field and hitting his straps. So a great game. The big question mark will be who wears the number 1 jersey for South Sydney. Does Blake Taff hold that position down, or does Wayne Bennett go with a more experienced in Cody Walker or potentially Alex Johnston?
What do you think? What would you do if you're Wayne Bennett?
Look, I really like Blake Taff. I think he's got a big future in the game, and but it's a big final up against one of the best teams in the competition with. Against the best kicker in the game. Any little movement out of position, he's going to find you out, Nathan Cleary. So I personally would go with Alex Johnston, a little bit more experienced under his belt in that big final.
All right, let's hear from Adam Reynolds, the South Sydney captain. He was asked that question today, what he thought of Blake Taff at fullback against the St George Illawarra Dragons.
Yeah, I thought he was good. I thought he was popping up in places. He was always taking the line on, and defensively he was in the right position. So he'll get a lot of confidence out of that game, and it's about continually, giving him confidence moving forward.
And then Sunday afternoon in Rockhampton, what a thrill for all the people in Rocky. The second of the eliminators, Billy, Parramatta and Newcastle.
Yeah, both these teams are somewhat out of form. I know Parramatta beat the minor premiers in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, but the Newcastle Knights got beaten by the Broncos on the weekend. I know they didn't play a whole heap of their starting players, and Kalen Ponga and Mitchell Pearce only played half the game, but they were dominant, the Broncos, and that's a concern for Adam O'Brien. Parramatta, they just haven't convinced me just yet. So, look, it's a toss of the coin, but I think whoever goes through is only going to go through for one more week.
So that's a look at week one of the finals. Just on Parramatta, Clint Gutherson spoke today about the fact that they're not in the top four. It's sudden death footy for them. They need to win their next 4 games to win the comp. Here's the Parramatta captain.
No, look, we've been in the top 4 the last couple of years and it hasn't worked out. So, look, we're in the same position we were. We just got to win. There's 4 other teams that are thinking the same. So it's everyone's looking forward to it. We'll start training the Savo and full focus to Newcastle and what they're going to do and how we beat them.
Clint Gutherson, the Parramatta captain, our number 131873. Jump on the line, talk some footy with Billy Slater, and you can offer your thoughts up on week one of the finals. We do that thanks to First National Real Estate. Let's start off with Mark at Mona Vale. He wants to have his say on the South Sydney fullback position. G'day, Mark.
G'day, Mark. G'day, Billy. Mate, I think AJ, I like Blake Taff. Billy, I guess ask you, how does a young bloke like that, push his way in, or how, if he does get selected, how does he stay, composed going in the high ball? Because Cleary menaced the Rabbitohs last time.
Well, he's certainly going to be tested, isn't he, if he finds himself in that position, Mark? And look, there's no way. It's a position where you can't get support, if you know what I mean. You're so isolated, and a kicker like Nathan Cleary can really isolate you. He can put the ball on a dime and have it float in the air. So you haven't got the ability to get up into the ball as well. So, look, I agree with Mark. I think Wayne Bennett will go with a more experienced fullback. This is taking nothing away from Blake Taff. Like I said, I think he's got a big future in the game, and I think he's going to be a fullback for an NRL team for a long time.
And off the back of what you're saying, Billy, you become a bit of an easy target too. And again, no disrespect to Blake Taff, but if you're the Penrith Panthers, you try and find the weakness, and that's the weakness for the Bunnies.
Yeah, for sure. And in finals, the referees, a little bit like Origin, they let things go a little bit more, so your kick returns become so important. And Blake's a little bit smaller than someone like Alex Johnston, and I think if they can fill that wing position on the left-hand side of the field, I think Wayne Bennett will be going with Alex.
Good on you, Mark. Thanks for the call, mate. Enjoy week one of the finals. I had a bit to say about the West Tigers off the top of the program. Greg wants to have his say in Canberra. G'day, Greg.
G'day, how you going, boys?
Good, mate.
Mark and Billy. Listen, I feel so sorry for Michael Maguire. He's the only bloke within that squad with any passion. I watched the players. I've watched what was going on. Listen to the swearing and all that they complained about the swearing. What would they do if they went down to Melbourne and got hold of bellyache? He'd make Michael Maguire look like a choir boy. The man has the runs on the board. The man can do things right. They've got to get rid of the soft, overpaid, overprivileged players that are there. Show them the door. Like, if I didn't perform at work, I'd be sacked. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
I'm getting to be an older man now, and, I'm telling you, I'm so disappointed. I was dyed-in-the-wool Western Suburb supporter, and I watched the program on Fox, the Wild West program, and I thought, I was beginning to I should nearly just follow West Tigers, but Jesus, what that last game! I got up and walked away, disappointed.
It's a tough one to swallow, your last game leading into the off-season, because that's going to just dwindle through the whole off-season into the pre-season. And I agree. Like, every time I talk to Michael Maguire, and I know Michael Maguire from Melbourne when he was as an assistant coach down in Melbourne, but I see passion, I see drive, and I see I want to get this club better. Some of the performances on the field, I'm not seeing that from some players. So Brad Fittler, he made a good point after the game. He said, you only get rid of someone if you've got someone better to put in. And I don't see anyone better in terms of passion and drive to get that club better than Michael Maguire.
Yeah. And to pay out another $800,000 to go through another coach, like I said off the top, he's won a comp in the NRL. He's won a comp in the UK. He's won a Challenge Cup in the UK. If Michael Maguire can't get the best out of a West Tigers football team, what hope have they got? And it seems like there's, all these reports in the media about, the knives are out for Michael Maguire. Well, why isn't anyone talking about the players who aren't performing? Michael Maguire's not the one missing tackles. Michael Maguire's not the one dropping the football, Billy. It's infuriating to hear all of this criticism being levelled at the coach.
Well, they haven't got any superstars going to the club next year, so he's going to have to rely on these young players developing really quick. Jackson Hastings going to the club, but he's far from an experienced star in the NRL. He's gone over and got some experience in the Super League, but that's not the NRL. So he's going to have to find it from within.
100%. Anyway, I just wanted to start today because I've read so much about Michael Maguire and the West Tigers, and I just thought, righto, time for a Levy Let's Fly. And for those people who have listened to me for the last 14 years, it doesn't take much to let me let fly. 131873, the number. We'll take a break, come back with more Wide World of Sports. You'll like this one, Billy Slater. Jerry at Sutherland, he says, Levy, you and Billy were talking about Cameron Munster and his stitches not holding up. Haven't they heard about duct tape?
Well, there's one thing about duct tape. If duct tape doesn't work, use more duct tape.
I like that. That's very good. Mark and Billy, disappointed Tarek Sims being released by the Dragons. I would have let Jack de Belin go. His actions don't deserve loyalty from Dave. And there's another one just on that topic, wanting your thoughts, Billy. If you were Anthony Griffin, would you be letting Tarek Sims go? Sounds bizarre to me.
Very interesting, isn't it? Because the club look like they need leaders, they need experience, and Tarek Sims brings that. So it's a very interesting move from the Red V.
Daniel's online at Greystanes as we head back to the open line. G'day, Daniel.
Good evening.
You're on the air, Daniel. Go for your life, mate.
Yeah, awesome. Just wanted to ask, Billy, firstly, let me just say, in my opinion, I think you're probably the greatest fullback of all time, but I needed to get your opinion on something because the lads keep on chewing the fat when it comes to who we think the greatest halfback of all time is. And so I needed to get your take on it.
Well, thanks for that, Daniel. I appreciate it. The greatest halfback, geez, we've had some good halfbacks. Look, Andrew Johns is probably the greatest halfback. He's nearly the greatest player that's ever played the game. We've got Jonathan Thurston. Alfie Langer was my favourite when I was growing up, and someone like Cooper Cronk, who probably didn't have the natural ability that those other halfbacks had, but he won 6 competitions, and he just honed his skills to become one of the great halfbacks. So it's really hard to select one of them, but any of them would be in my list.
What about in 10 years' time? Joey's been talking about Nathan Cleary on track to pass him and JT. Would you agree with that?
Oh, well, he's got it all in front of him. He's playing exceptional. And the way that he's just controlling the game, he's got calmness, he's got all the skills. He's got the potential to be right up there with Andrew Johns, yeah, for sure.
Good on you, Daniel. Thanks for the call, mate. Spread the word. Wide World of Sports, Monday through Thursday here on 2GB and 2CC. 131873, the number. Let's do this.
Now on Wide World of Sports. 60 seconds with Slater.
No mucking around tonight. Let's go. As we head into the NRL finals, who's your tip outside of the Melbourne Storm to lift the Probyn Summons Trophy?
Penrith.
Can the South Sydney Rabbitohs win the comp without Latrell Mitchell?
I don't like telling people they can't do something, but it's going to be really hard.
Do you think Josh Adokar and Cameron Munster will play on Friday for the Storm?
Well, I've got no inside knowledge here, but I'm going to say yes.
If you were building a club, would you sign Nathan Cleary or Tom Trebojevic, and why?
Oh, getting picky now. Either would be good. Nathan.
Do we need to limit the involvement of the bunker in the final series?
In general play, yes.
What are your thoughts on the idea of a future wildcard round before the finals?
No, I don't like it. I thought there was enough excitement over the Titans.
Phil Gould's described this as one of the softest seasons. Do you agree with Gus?
Well, there's a big discrepancy from the good teams to the bad teams.
What's your most memorable moment when playing finals football?
Probably the last 5 minutes in a preliminary final, knowing you're going to a grand final. That's the best part.
That would be good. Can you tip us a horse to watch during the Sydney or Melbourne carnivals?
Oh, I think Zaki's a star, 7-year-old gelding, going to the Cox Plate, so keep an eye on him.
What about Nature Strip on the weekend, just quietly?
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
And what were the Mad Mondays like at Melbourne, and have you got any funny stories?
They were fun. They changed a lot from my first to my last, but I probably can't say any stories. Some good costumes. I went as Pamela Anderson one year. A one-piece. Yeah, not good viewing.
Mate, you'd look better in a one-piece than Piggy Riddell. He showed me one of his outfits from Parramatta. He walked into a pub with Brett Finch on a lead. It wasn't good.
Wow.
He said, Levy, wait until I turn around. So he showed me the next photo. He had the arseless chaps on. Good times. We'll take a quick break, come back with more Wide World of Sports. I mentioned the Warriors and the drama over the course of the weekend on the Gold Coast. I think I said Jack Hetherington, Kane Evans, who I was talking to. Thank you, Craig, for the correction. And listening to Graham Annesley's media briefing today, Matt Lodge has been fined $5,000 for sticking the finger up at the crowd as he came off the field. So a $5,000 breach notice. And the Warriors CEO, Cameron George, also spoke to the media expressing his disappointment in the behaviour of three of those players, Jazz Tavanga, Kane Evans and also Matt Lodge. So they weren't happy with the performance and also the behaviour of a few of their players. Let's check some news headlines.
A news update. Experience the convenience of buying your new Hyundai online with Hyundai's Click to Buy. Visit the Hyundai website to find your local dealer today.
Helene Lambetsos is in the newsroom. Helene, good evening to you.
Mark, good evening. Modelling from the state government predicts as many as 560 people will be in intensive care due to COVID by the end of this month. Another 1,281 people have tested positive and 5 people with the virus have died. Going to the pub, having visitors over and getting a professional haircut are among the freedoms expected to be offered to people who are fully vaccinated from mid-October. The roadmap is yet to be signed off on, and an announcement is expected this week. A 3-year-old boy has undergone medical checks after 4 days of searching, ending with him being found in scrubland. And 2 people have been treated for smoke inhalation after a house fire in Sydney's east, which caused the roof of a Kingsford home to collapse. In sports, South Sydney captain Adam Reynolds is backing Blake Taaffe to continue at fullback in the NRL finals. There will be more news in about 25 minutes.
Thank you, Helene. Appreciate it. As Helene was talking about that hairdressing story, Billy started playing with his hair. You need a haircut, do you, Bill?
Mate, it's highlighting all my greys. Please.
The silver fox look, mate. Apparently
the curls are coming out.
Very good. A couple more text messages here before I get a player of the round for McDonald's. Levy, can you ask Billy, with Pappenhausen returning to his best against the Sharks and the Storm's middle forwards back from injury, could Nico Hines do a job at right centre? He can defend in the front line and is a natural ball runner. And conversely, would Hines be the likely replacement should Munster be ruled out at 5'8"? That's from Daniel at Prairie Wood, Bill.
Yeah, I think so, Daniel. I think Nico Hines could fill that number 6 role, but I think Remus Smith has been great in the right centre position this year. I think that's all locked away. Nico Hines will probably find himself on the bench if Munster's okay, but if Munster doesn't come up for the game, I think Nico will find himself in that 6 jersey.
You're getting a rap from Steve here too on the text line, 0460 873 873. Mark, Billy the Kid was 100% right about the Gold Coast last Monday. He's worth more money. Don't tell the bosses, Stevie boy.
Thanks, mate.
Well done. Hi, boys. Great show as usual. Just on the Dragons, what does it say about the culture down there when they tell Tarek he's not wanted the day before the last game of the year? Just appalling from Stephen Engadine. And Levy, you legend. Did you see the photo of Tarek Sims' lip? Was very hectic. Poor bloke. A great weekend from you boys on the continuous call team. Love your work from Frankie and Crosney. Thank you, Frankie.
Did you just throw in there, Levy, you legend? That wasn't even on the
text. No, it says here, Levy, you legend. Hey, mate, you got to get the raps when you can. Sometimes you got to give them to yourself. 131873, the number. Righto, well, you made the big bold statement last week that the Titans would be making the finals. I need to get off you a McDonald's player of the round from round 25.
All right, well, I'm going to make Tom Trbojevic ineligible for this award now. He's on a different planet. He beat half of Townsville for one of his tries on the weekend. It's ridiculous. So, look, it does come from that Titans game, actually, and it was a Titans player. And young Jaden Campbell, when I watch Jaden play, I just can't help but smile. He's just so enjoyable to watch. He's very much like his dad, but making his own name at the moment. And he ran for 255 metres, scored 2 tries and set one up. But it was that first try, that instinctive grubber kick that Alfie Langer used to do. And it's just a breath of fresh air to watch him play. And, he's going really well at the moment. He plays his first final this weekend.
Jaden Campbell, Billy's player of the round, thanks to McDonald's. Just away from the finals, Bill, a couple of the struggling teams finished another tough season with wins. I was really delighted for Alex Glenn, who went out a winner with the Brisbane Broncos, and the Canterbury Bulldogs. They had a win over the course of the weekend, just their third of the season. So some positive notes to finish for them.
Yeah, it was some, and the Canterbury Bulldogs held the Tigers to 0, so that was an impressive performance by them. But the Broncos, they've shown glimpses of their future this year, and they did that on the weekend again. I thought Herbie Farnworth was exceptional. He's a talented player, and to have him on one side and Tony Staggs possibly on the other side, that's going to be a lot of strike. They get Reynolds and Capewell, so Kevin Walters has got a lot to work with over the summer, and I think they're potentially going to play finals next year if they can get it all right.
Well, I was going to ask you that. I mean, I want you to look into that crystal ball of yours and tell me which of those teams that have missed out on finals this year do you think will be in the 8 next year?
Well, there's not many. I think the Broncos have the talent and the potential to do that, and the way that they've recruited, and Adam Reynolds is the obvious one, but Kurt Capewell, he's another steady hand, a lot of experience, he's an origin player. I think they can push right up that ladder. The other one is obviously the Canberra Raiders. They were disappointing this year, and I think they can push into that bottom half of the 8.
All right, there you go. All right, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this, I want to take you into the Manly Sea Eagles camp and catch up with Jake Trebojevic, getting ready for another finals campaign. They're obviously based in Queensland. They've got the Melbourne Storm this coming Friday night. Breaking back with more.
You're listening to Wide World of Sports.
Well, you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, that both myself and Billy Slater are excited because the finals are here. And I love talking to our next guest because he just is excited all of the time. He just loves playing football. He loves the Manly Sea Eagles. I speak of Jake Trebojevic. He's on the line right now. G'day, Jakey.
How you going, guys?
Mate, very well. You'd be beside yourself, wouldn't you? Melbourne Storm Friday night, finals footy. How good's life?
Yeah, it's very exciting. Obviously, it was a great finish to the year for us, and just sneaking into the top 4. I think everyone was pretty excited up there in Townsville on Saturday night, so we're pretty pumped. Obviously, it's going to be a tough one this week against the mighty Storm, but we'll be ready to go on Friday.
Yeah, Jakey, we all know the importance of momentum and health going into the final series. Where's Manly sit with these two categories at the moment?
I think not too bad, Bill. I think we've got a couple of players come back last week in Taniela Paseka and Sean Kepi, so you'd probably say that when Josh Alloy comes back, we're close to full strength, which is nice, and it was a pretty good win up there in Townsville, so hopefully that gives us a bit of momentum, a bit of confidence and that sort of thing, a bit of belief, and we know how hard it's going to be. Obviously, we played Storm about a month ago, and they sort of taught us a real good lesson, in playing for the full 80 and showed us how good and clinical they are, so we obviously know where we've got to try and get to, and we just hopefully build the week up and hopefully put in a good performance on Friday night.
Yeah, you only played them 4 weeks ago and went down 18 points to 28. What did you learn from that game, and who are the key players you got to shut down for Melbourne?
Oh, well, obviously they've got quality right across the park, but I think that night we turned the ball over too much, and our possession was really down, and we didn't complete well enough. And as I said, they taught us a real good footballing lesson in playing for the full 80. And I know that sounds cliche, but that's what they did that night. They've just got so much strike right across the park, so many quality players, and it's hard to shut them down. Obviously, but Desi's working really hard, giving us all the video and that sort of stuff. So hopefully we can do a really good job.
You're in some try-scoring form at the moment. Scored 2 tries up there in Townsville on the weekend. But, mate, your brother just had to trump you. Has he always just had to go one up on you in the backyard? He's in all seriousness, he's in some incredible form. Surely you've even got to shake your head at what he's doing at the moment.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, Billy. Obviously to get to play alongside it and having a player like that on your team, and then obviously it's pretty cool. And then when obviously your brother, you're very proud. And I think some of them tries on the weekend were just crazy. I think that second one when you beat 8 or 9 blokes, when the game was actually in the balance at that point. So when he did that, it was just like, wow, it's just pretty special, eh? So he's playing really well. I'm just hoping we can cash in on it. Obviously you don't have players in form like that very often, so hopefully we can cash in on it.
Jake, I heard your captain Daly Cherry Evans say today at the launch that he thinks Tom's best footy's still ahead of him. How does his brother feel about that? I
hope so. That'd be nice. Really hope so.
Next 4 weeks would be good.
Do you reckon it's still to come? You know him better than most.
Mate, it'd be hard to top what he's done, but if you can do it the next 4 weeks, as Billy said, I'd love that.
Yeah. Where's Des at in this campaign? Like, how's his attitude? Where does he see this team at? And what's his what's the feeling around Des at the moment going into this final series?
I honestly can't rap Desi enough. He's been unreal. I thought coming up into this sort of football camp environment, he could be a bit too much. You know, he loves sort of giving players a lot of info and a lot of content and that sort of thing. I thought it could have been tough on him, but he's been really good, like really, really good. When we train, we work hard, but on days off, he leaves everyone alone and he gives everyone the best tools to succeed. You know, he's got a real good knack at getting the best out of everyone, and he's been doing that lately. So hopefully he can keep that up, and everyone can keep improving and just have some belief and confidence, and hopefully we can keep performing well.
Yeah, normally in this system of the finals, you finish fourth and you play Melbourne. You'd have to travel down to Melbourne. Is it a benefit being up there in a hub and everyone's on an even playing field? So it nearly feel like it's your home game. You use a base up there on the Sunshine Coast, as are Melbourne, and you play at Sunshine Coast Stadium on Friday night.
Yeah, it definitely helps. As you said, normally we'd have to go down to Melbourne, and that's near impossible going down there and winning, semi-final. So getting to just travel up the road to the Sunny Coast Stadium, which everyone's really happy about it, even though Melbourne I think they've got an unbeaten record there, so that'll still be pretty tough. But it's nice how it's nice and close, and we've played a few games there. It's a pretty cool little venue, so everyone's pretty excited.
Jake, can we give Ruben Garrick a rap? Billy and I were talking earlier in the program about that try on full time. Most people would have just run the ball dead. How good is it? Move on to the finals. Mate, you went the length of the field, you blokes. That was pretty special.
Yeah, he's this real special player. Eh? Like some of the things he does when he's tired is pretty crazy. Like as you said, I would have kicked that ball dead. The game's over. I already had it wrapped up, and he just did that. Even in the game when he chased that kick off Cherry Evans, most blokes wouldn't get to that, and he got to it and scored a try and a few chase downs. He's just obviously a great player, and reward for effort. I think with the highest points ever in a regular season. He's worked really hard for that, so obviously we're all pretty proud of him for that. And it's exciting to see him do well.
There's a big debate around the game on who's the quickest in the NRL, and we saw Jason Saab run down Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow. Would you have your money on Jason Saab if he come up against the likes of the Fox and the Hammer?
Yeah, I couldn't back against Saab. Watching him at training, watching him in the game. He just looks so fast. Yeah, as you said, the way he caught the hammer on the weekend, crazy stuff. So I definitely couldn't back against him. But I'd like to see him against the Fox. That'd be pretty cool.
Are you jealous? Are you a little bit jealous of how quick they move?
Yes.
Hey, Jake, before you go, and I should have mentioned this to Billy off the top of the program, it was Father's Day yesterday. Did you do anything special for the old man? Billy, because Jake's old man, he is famous for his bacon and egg rolls down at the Mona Vale Raiders Junior Football Club. And obviously with no footy at the moment with COVID, there's a lot of people going hungry. What'd you do for the old man, Jake?
Oh, well, obviously it was a shame we couldn't be with him. He was obviously, they were down in Sydney, but they loved the game the night before, so that had them pretty pumped, and we sent down a few presents. So he had a good day. Mum and my other brother who's down there looked after him, so he had a good day nonetheless, and when we get back, we'll have to celebrate with him more.
Good stuff.
They scored him 5 tries and put on about 6 try assists for him, so surely that's enough.
Yeah, but we had Mrs. Trebojevic on the continuous call team. And we were talking to Mrs. Trebojevic about, the boys paying rent and all those different things. I don't know whether you're still at home, and I know you're in Queensland, but, mate,
surely Tom pays more.
You've got to look after Mum, mate. Imagine the food bill in the Trebojevic household, Billy.
Yeah.
Cost them $1,000 a week.
Oh, she loves us, mate.
Oh, mate, that's what you're supposed to say. But, hello, you're earning a fortune, champion. Hey, anyway, look, good luck on Friday. It's great to see the Manly Seagulls where they belong in the top 4 playing great football. The Trebojevic brothers, not only Tom, you've got to go in the mix as well. You're all superstars in your own right, mate. And do the Peninsula proud on Friday night against the Storm.
Thanks for having us, guys. Appreciate it.
Good on you, mate. Jake Trebojevic from the Manly Seagulls. 131873, the number. Let's get into the quiz. If you know who this is, you give me a call straight away, and you could go into the draw for the signed footy. Here we are. I was born in the Riverina and became a rugby league legend. I played 14 test matches and 2 World Cups for Australia. I played in the second row for St George in the first 10 of 11 consecutive premierships. I was named as the 13th Immortal. and I'm now immortalised in bronze on the Telstra Premiership Trophy. If you know who that is, 131873. 131873, the number. Before we get to a break, Tariq Sims has had a chat to Danny Weidler on 9 News. We all know that he's been told that he can find another club for next year by St George Illawarra. He's had this to say.
Were you making any unreasonable demands about, you wanted an extra 3 years after next year, or were there any unreasonable demands you were making financially?
The conversations with the Dragons, they didn't even reach that point, negotiating, length of deals or, the financial situations. The conversations we had were pretty, short and sharp.
Are you angry, Tariq?
No, I was upset at the start, Danny, but, unfortunately, that's football sometimes.
There he is, Tariq Sims, and he said he found out a month ago talking to Danny Weidler exclusively on 9 News. We'll take a quick break, back with more Wide World of Sports. Well, let's find a winner to the quiz on this Monday night. Victor was first through at Kareela. Hi, Victor.
How are you?
I'm very well, mate. What's the answer?
Norm Proven.
Oh, the legend himself, Normie Proven. Yes, well done, Victor. You're into the draw, mate. We'll give away the signed football on Thursday night's edition of Wide World of Sports. Stay there, mate. We'll make sure we get all of your details from one legend, Norm Proven, to another one. Billy Slater, what did your kids get you for Father's Day, champion?
A bit of chocolate. I've got a box of favourites and some Nutella. I think it was a last-minute decision.
We've found your weakness now, chocolate. You sound a lot like the G-Train. He loves his chocolate
sitting on the
too.
couch.
Beautiful, mate, beautiful.
Love it.
131873, the number 2gb.com, and click onto the feedback icon. Just on the AFL for this coming weekend, Friday night will be Melbourne and Geelong at Optus Stadium in Perth, and Saturday night Port Adelaide and the Western Bulldogs at the Adelaide Oval. So we're down to the AFL preliminary finals as well. Billy, have you got a little tip in the two AFL prelim finals?
Oh, I'd like to see Melbourne win. That's been a long drought for Melbourne and their supporters. So if they could get through to a grand final, that'd be crazy. And the Bulldogs, they've come from behind in the back half of the 8. So Melbourne Bulldogs would be a nice grand final.
Melbourne Western Bulldogs have even got Thor himself, Chris Hemsworth, cheering on
he's a Bulldogs man.
Western Bulldogs. So that's all still to come this weekend. And then, of course, the grand final in the AFL will be played at Optus Stadium in Perth. Magnificent stadium. We were there a few years ago for Origin. That'll be absolutely packed for the AFL grand final. Melbourne Geelong Friday night, Port Adelaide Western Bulldogs this coming Saturday night in the AFL. Before we get out of here, Billy, you're a Queenslander, mate. Isn't it great to see the finals? Sunshine Coast, Townsville and Rockhampton week 1.
Incredible. And we've been thanking the Queensland public for keeping the season alive. But I've got to thank the NRL on behalf of regional Queensland in particular. I grew up in country Queensland and I know how much rugby league means to the community up there. And to have a double header finals up in Townsville and then have a game in Rockhampton, I'm sure it'll be a sellout up there. So it's such good to see. It's so good to see that that we're playing rugby league in the rural areas and given the opportunity up there.
Good stuff, mate. Great to see you as always, mate. We'll see you on the telly over the weekend, first week of the finals. Bring it on.
Looking forward to it, Leaves. Thanks, mate.
See you, legend. Billy Slater with me on a Monday. Paul Gallen's here tomorrow. Brad Fittler on Wednesday, and we'll preview the big game on Thursday night. Friday night footy, of course, the Sunshine Coast Stadium with Melbourne taking on Manly. Week 1 of the finals right here on 2GB. Bye-bye.